President Trump says his national security advisor, Mike Waltz, will be leaving the role and instead be nominated as the ambassador to the United Nations.
In his place, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will take over the duties of the national security advisor. Political commentator Sue O'Connell is standing by with some thoughts on this, but let's kick things off with Colton Bradford and a closer look at this change, Colton.
Yeah, Glenn, a lot of back and forth already today, and it actually comes as a bit of a surprise to those in D.C. Not that the president nominated an ambassador to the UN, but that the nominee is Mike Waltz. Waltz has reportedly been on thin ice ever since he accidentally added a journalist into an unsecure group chat with other top Trump officials. Now, Waltz has consistently denied doing so, even going as far as accusing that journalist of hacking his way into the chat. But right now, all appears to be forgiven. Waltz will need to go through a Senate confirmation. That's something that he didn't need to do as national security advisor. You may remember that the president's original pick for the UN was New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. But with Republicans holding a very slim majority in the House, it was determined that she was more necessary there in the House. Also being reported today, Waltz's deputy, Alex Wong, is leaving the White House, but he could also be going to the UN as well, though it's not quite clear on that just yet. And as for the duties of the National Security Advisor, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will take over. Glenn, JC.
All right, Colton, thanks for laying the groundwork there. Let's bring in NBC 10 political commentator Sue O'Connell now.
Sue, when you first heard Waltz was being nominated for the UN, you said it's a smart idea. Why?
Well, because Mike Waltz is actually qualified, signal gate aside. Look, he was once on the House Armed Services Committee. He worked at the Pentagon for 2 secretaries of defense. He served the Bush administration as a counter-terrorist advisor. Waltz's biggest problem with Trump has been that they disagreed on policy, and at the UN, Waltz and Trump are more aligned. So at least for Waltz, it's a better fit.
So what about this plan to shift the duties of the National Security Advisor to the Secretary of State? It sounds like 2 pretty heavy lifts. Is this sustainable?
Absolutely not. Secretary Marco Rubio is also very qualified, but he already has a very big job with very different responsibilities, and USAID, that got already put underneath him. So the National Security Advisor focuses on coordinating and advising within the executive branch, while the Secretary of State leads diplomatic efforts abroad and manages America's huge diplomatic corps. So it's just too much for one person.
NBC 10 political commentator Sue O'Connell, thank you.
You're welcome.